about being at the Devils game. Okay, we're live now, so that I want to get this. Okay, go ahead. So
Oh, okay. Hello, everybody. I was at a hockey game yesterday.
exciting one.
Wait. It was a very good one. So, you saw, the Devils were down 2-0 at the end of one, right?
Hmm.
And we were like, oh, it's going to be another one of these crap games where the Devils let up 7 goals, and I just want to leave. Uh, so the second period happens, and the first goal, we were sitting where the Devils shoot twice, right? We stood
Nice.
behind that goal, and so we were excited because maybe we could see some goals. So we were sitting where the Devils shoot twice behind, right behind the net, but the second level up.
Hmm.
And so I see the rush happening. I see the whole thing. And as they're crossing center ice, I go to the kid next to me and I go to Matt, watch, it's going to be a goal. And it was a rush into the at the goal, and whoever scored it poked it into the net, and their jaws just dropped. They were like, "Jake, you just fucking called that goal," and I
Well,
was like,
yeah.
"I just called a goal," and yeah. So then we were still celebrating, and then we were getting ready to sit back down, and all of a sudden they scored again. Second
Yeah.
goal, made it 2-2,
Hmm.
and they scored a third time, and obviously there were so many Rangers fans at that game.
I
It
know. I
almost
heard.
felt like a Rangers home game.
Well, that's because it's cheaper for them to go there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
And I
they're.
and I said to that, I said to Matt, it's probably because the Rangers fans would rather, you know, not spend as much money.
Hmm.
It's like the Rangers fans in New Jersey, it's cheaper for them,
Hmm.
right? As opposed to going to the Garden. And you're almost guaranteed to see a win if you're a Rangers fan.
True.
Um, but yeah, no, after that fourth goal or whatever, um, we were just everyone's mouth was dropped, whether you're a Rangers fan or a Devils fan,
Hmm.
right? And if you're a Devils fan, your mouth is dropped because they scored 4 goals in 7 minutes. If you're a Rangers fan, your mouth is dropped because you let in 4 goals against the Devils in 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was 5-2 at the end of two, and they held on for a 7-4 win.
Yep.
And it was, oh man, that's my first ever Devil Ranger game.
Hmm.
Wow, I don't think anything's gonna top that.
Yeah, they're pretty intense, eh? And yeah, there's more Rangers fans there because a lot of the Devils fans don't go when they're not winning.
No, not at all. Not
And
at all.
sadly, the Rangers fans go there because it's way cheaper to just catch the subway over and watch a Rangers game there than it is to go to Madison Square Garden.
Yep. Plus, the tickets are significantly cheaper as well.
Precisely.
So there's that as well.
That's what I mean. Like the whole trip, the whole thing is just cheaper to go
Yeah.
there. Yeah, it's nuts.
Oh man. And it's great because Matt's parents went, but they sat in a different section,
Mm-hmm.
and so they're both Rangers fans.
Ah, ha,
And let's
ha.
just say they were not happy after the game. Let's just
Ha,
say that.
ha. That's what they get for cheering
And
for the Rags.
yeah. But I mean, I didn't hear anybody bad mouthing players really.
Mm-hmm.
It's something we talked about on the way home. You know how in soccer, like the diehard fans will go after a player
Mm-hmm. Sure.
specifically.
Sometimes.
I didn't hear much of that at the game yesterday. It was more of the Rangers suck or something along the lines of that. Not Zibanejad's your mom's a hoe or whatever.
Right.
No one really said any of that kind of stuff, which I'm grateful for because that kind of stuff doesn't belong in sports.
Yeah, sure. You can root against the team, be like, Rangers suck, but going after the
Yeah,
individuals doesn't make any sense.
yeah, and even saying oh X player sucks. That's I'm okay with that. But when you personally attack a player or a player's family, that's where I draw the line.
Yeah, that's not worth it.
Yeah,
These people are not your enemies; they are your rivals. People need to learn the difference.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Uh, do you want to go on loan? Do you want
Okay.
to? um, sure. Let's say yes.
Where am I
It
going on loan
was.
to?
Uh, yeah, it was a good game. We parked right next to the stadium. We didn't take the train in because his parents went, so we paid for parking. Um, yeah, yesterday was a pretty long day for me. I went down to school at 12, then I had to drive the 2 hour trip to Matt's house. Then we went to the hockey game, and then I had to stay at his house to help him with something, and then I went home. And I got home at like 1 in the morning, and I was back up at 9 for school.
Hmm.
And I
Busy
just got
day.
home like literally 15 minutes ago. Yeah,
Busy day.
yeah.
Busy 2 days, really.
Oh yeah. So tonight's sleep is going to be pretty nice, and I don't have anything to do tomorrow, so I'm happy about that.
Indeed, you would be.
So how was your week? Now
Great.
that you know mine.
No, good, good. Yeah, no, we've just been chilling and playing games. You know me. Not much changes, and I like it that way.
Yeah.
I just sold Onen.
Ed.
I did. Onen just got sold.
Oh.
I
Who? It was an English team.
think no. Yeah, West Brom.
West Brom.
Yep.
Interesting.
775,000. Some teams are after Rory Lockery, but I won't sell him. And right now there is a bid on Melvin Lambert that is likely to go through.
Wow.
Yep. So
He's
a
the
couple of my
favorite right now.
key staple players from seasons past that are now backups are moving on. But these guys are backups now, and I don't really use them much.
Fair.
No, Onen no longer
Fair.
isn't even on my backup 11 anymore. So
Hmm.
poor guy. He was a key
Oh,
player for
he's.
so long because I bought Illich.
Mm.
Oh no! One of my scouts got signed away. God darn it!
Who's that other striker?
Gory rejected the offer and re-signed with me
Why did you sign to Mesnikov again? Because I wasn't playing him.
because you don't use him.
I used him in 17 games.
Well, you weren't using him at the time I offered him a contract. He was stapled to your bench pretty much exclusively at that time.
Only in Europe because he wasn't registered because he was signed too late. I really got chipped out of that one. And he had a release clause, didn't he?
That's exactly how I got him. Yeah, yeah. Well, I tried to give you another striker in addition, but
I probably said no, knowing my stupid ass.
do you need a striker on loan? I'll loan you a striker.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
gonna allow me to use one of my other strikers that I have in on loan
There you go.
in the first team. So
Yeah.
there's that.
Yeah.
Off of leave the physio. Um, what else happened? What did I do this weekend? Oh, I worked 2 games.
Hmm.
Right. I told you about the meme on Sunday.
Yeah. It's posted on the thing.
Yeah.
Somebody asked if it was you at the booth. You didn't answer yet, but it got buried a little bit.
Oh, see, I don't have my notifications on, so let me respond to that right now.
Hmm. And and you are returning. You are a returning subscriber. Yeah, that you are. No, I do not. You're funny.
I need a lottery ticket, please.
Uh, good night.
Night, night.
Too funny though.
Oh shit.
Now I need another stinking. Who let your subscription expire? I think maybe I did. I reminded you. I reminded you yesterday.
All right, let me answer this question first. I'm surprised you didn't answer it.
I coulda. I just. I mean, I will next time. Sorry. You're right. I didn't think of that.
Oh no, he asked it today. It's okay. This morning.
Yeah, I saw it. I just thought I could have answered. I don't know why I didn't. Laziness. Let's blame it on laziness. That seems like a good culprit.
Oh no, I'm not saying like it was you were obligated to.
I'm blaming it on laziness. That's what's happening.
Sure, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
We have to offer him a new contract. What kind of contract do you want, Stritzel? You want to be an important player? Nah, I don't think so. Let's see if I can keep you at a backup.
New Jersey post game report. Let's have a look at the. Oh, they lost to the Maple Laughs.
Yeah, 3-2.
It was a close game, but yeah, they lost tonight. That's okay. Perfectly fine. They won yesterday's game, and that's the one I cared about.
Yeah, exactly.
They beat the Rangers. I'm happy. If they beat the Flyers, I'm happy. Everybody else, I don't give too much shits about. Well, maybe the Islanders once in a while.
How much are you getting paid now? 1.8. Let's go with 2.2. Can you hear my fan in the background?
Nope.
You're on a 5-year deal and you're 30 years old, and I can't even change it. Do I do it? Do I sign Stritzel for 5 years?
No. I believe you could upgrade on him in that time. But
You
that's
think
me.
I can? You think I can upgrade him
How old is he?
in 30?
He's 30. You run him till he's 35?
I don't think I'd use him when he's 34, 35. I think I'd find a better keeper by then since we're in the Champions
That's
League.
precisely what I'm saying. So no, a 5-year commitment to that guy? Hell no. I just re-signed Gabriel Gorey though. Remember before we left, somebody triggered his release clause, and then you showed
Yes,
me, and then you showed me a trick to offer him a contract. He accepted my contract.
yeah. How did I do that again? Did I
You said to up his playing status
squad status?
to star player.
I don't know why that came to my head. I honestly don't. I really don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I was I don't know. I have no answer for you. U.S. plays Mexico tomorrow.
They do, don't they? That's a pretty big game.
Canada just needs a point to secure qualification.
I hope that U.S. and Mexico draw.
Of course you do.
Mhm.
Bohemian set for top billing
So, against
in
St.
their
Pat's,
conference.
but they're playing me.
Did I tell you about my coworker who plays Football Manager?
I think so. Let's go with no, and you can tell me again.
He's he's playing with Bohemians.
Mhm.
Did I tell you that?
No,
I don't know if I did. So okay, so
I don't
one
think
of the
so.
guys, one of the my coworkers that works VAR with me, uh, plays Football Manager almost religiously, and I found out that we have a lot in common, not only in just like sports, but like outside of sports life. And he told me that one of his favorite teams was Dulwich Hamlet in the like National League North or South. And I said to him, "How do you even know who they are? They have never been in FIFA. So like, how are you like knowing teams, down in the English pyramid. And he goes, "Oh, I play this game called Football Manager." And I was all confused because I've never met someone before in real life who
Yeah,
also plays Football Manager.
it's pretty cool.
And then he was talking about how like he usually does like an MLS save and then like a save with a bigger European club.
Hmm.
But he wanted to try a save in Ireland, and he's playing with Bohemians right now. And I was like, dude, my friend and I stream games.
Hmm.
You should totally watch it one day.
Totally.
And we were in Ireland as well.
Yeah,
And yeah, so it was a nice little talk.
that's cool though.
Yeah, it was after a stressful day as well, because we stayed about 3.5 hours after we were supposed to leave,
Hmm.
just like cleaning up the place.
Hmm.
Um, since that the game was at Yankee Stadium, and NYCFC like doesn't own Yankee Stadium, we have to clean up everything after
Oh, boo.
every every game essentially.
Hmm.
So not only like everything, all the wires were just all over the place. Everything was a mess. So it took 4 guys to clean everything and like put everything in order. And yeah, we both took the train home, and that's how we started talking because train trip is like an hour long. So yeah, made a new friend and could possibly play Football Manager with him in the future.
Nice.
So
Obviously, welcome to join our games if they wanted to have. But that's a bit of a time commitment, so I get
yeah,
that.
it is.
Most people just want to be
I didn't
casual about it, and I get that.
absolutely. I didn't bring. That's why I didn't like offer him
Yeah,
to play because I don't know. Like
doesn't
I
hurt to
only
ask
see
though.
him. No, absolutely. But like I only see him once every 2 weeks or 3 weeks or
Right.
whatever, so I don't really know
Absolutely.
what he does
Yeah.
as a full time job.
Yeah.
I'll work my way to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. I mean, if they're the kind of person that wants to play once a week, then
Yeah, so yeah, I just had the 2 games this weekend. Who plays in advance?
Temeneskov making his debut today.
Yeah, I bet you he's gonna score like 5,000 goals.
It's a good player. It's too bad you didn't use him. I wouldn't have gone after him.
I think I did. I think you just made it seem to believe I didn't.
Okay.
He has a lot of appearances right now, if you ask me.
Also, he won't be scoring against me anymore.
Oh, that's why you took him.
Yeah, I pulled a
Nice.
Jurgen Klopp. Yeah. It's true. Jurgen Klopp went and signed Minamino after he scored twice against Liverpool in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good player, that guy. Very creative. I like Minamino. I think he's a lot like Son. I am. Am I your favorite? Wow. Thanks. I appreciate that. I'm doing good. How are you?
See, you're his favorite 6.
Mhm.
But what about 7, 8, and 9?
I don't know. I don't know any of them. I mean, 6 is scared of 7 because 7, 8, 9.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's put you on the bench today. Also, you missed my entire story about the hockey game. He's gonna have to watch it on YouTube.
Just have to watch the VOD after. Yep. The whole beginning of this VOD will be a fun story about the hockey game he went to last night.
Very fun hockey game.
Van Dyke is your favorite 6? I mean, that's fair. That's very reasonable. My favorite 6 was John Arnorisa.
Was that why you call your name 6?
No, because when I played sports when I was young, I always had number 6. Okay, so the very first sport I ever got into was hockey, obviously, and my
Curling.
no, get out of here. My brother and I were both playing hockey, and my grandparents at the time, not my mom's side, but my stepdad's side, they they bought us jerseys to play hockey in,
Okay.
and they mixed our birthdays up. What they wanted to do was they wanted to put our birthdays on our jerseys,
Oh.
but they gave me number 6, because my brother's birthday is October 6th. They gave my brother number 22 because my birthday's on September 22nd. So it was funny because we got each other's birthday numbers. But I thought that was great. So I just always wore number 6 in every sport I ever played, which was really funny because in my second season of hockey, I became the goalie, but I still insisted
And
on
goalies
wearing.
wear 1 and 3.
Yeah, but I still insisted on wearing number 6. And of course, we were young enough. We were kids. They let me. But it wasn't until I got to bantam level. And then we were starting to get high up where the numbers actually are supposed to follow a structure. They don't have to, but they usually do. And I said, look,
Yeah.
if I don't wear number 6, I won't play. And they literally gave me number 6 as a goalie. I was the first goalie in Red Deer Bantam AAA to wear number 6.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's all, and in sports, if somebody doesn't know your name, they call you by your number. So all my life, when I go and meet people in sports, I have been 6. They're always like, "Hey, 6,"
Interesting.
right? Yeah. So that's how it happened. It's my brother's birthday, and it's the number I wore in sports.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah.
I have the same affection, I guess, with the number 14.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was my first number I played with when I played travel soccer,
Yeah.
and so whenever I could, I would take that number.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but once I played once I played at the academy level, they were like, "No, we really want you to take the number 1 because that's for goalkeepers."
Oh yeah.
And I reluctantly
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Well,
agreed, but
even when I played footy, I had number 6, and when I played baseball, I had number 6. Until I was playing the Canadian Nationals when I was 15, and they wouldn't let me have number 6. They made me wear a different number.
what
I
position did you play?
first base. So, I mean, I didn't get to play a lot in that one. I was a junior player. Like, it was my first season on Team Alberta for the Nationals. So mostly I just got to watch. So I got 2 pinch hits, and I got to pinch run once. Anyway, on my pinch run, they wanted me to steal second, and I went to steal second, and I slid, and I tore up my right shoulder.
Oh,
And I attribute that to them making me wear my wrong number. I know that's superstitious and that it's ridiculous, but
okay.
I blame them for not giving. They didn't give me number 6, and I injured myself. So I'm like, see, never
I
again.
understand.
Yep.
It's like with me before every game when I go into the 6-yard box, I have to touch the crossbar with both of my hands,
I mean,
and then
yeah.
like it makes me feel like I know where the goal is at all times during the game.
I mean, I know a lot of it. Yeah, exactly. We know it's superstitious mumbo jumbo, but it's just habits that make you feel good, safe, even. Like.
Yeah.
I know I was being silly by saying that, but from that point forward, I just wouldn't wear anything but number 6. I understood, though, once I finally got to the junior level of hockey, that there was rules against it. Goalies had to have specific numbers. So by that point, I was okay with taking number 36. But I still
And
wasn't thrilled about it.
like in football, they have rules against it as well to help the referees. Oh, we scored off a corner to help the referees know where a player should line up or whatever in
Yeah.
the NFL. Since you call football soccer, so
Uh,
gotta be ambiguous.
you can just say North American football.
Fair.
You already stole the name. You might as well make it longer.
We didn't steal it. We just kept it.
Kept it.
Oh well, I'm thinking about.
It's stolen. Football. You stole the name football.
No,
That's
started out as
North American football?
no. Okay, North American football's always been football.
Yeah, because but you know why? I've told the story. I think have you been around when I've told you why they called North American football football?
Because we already had a soccer. I don't know.
No. Okay, so when North American
Is it
football was start
because like this? Okay, I was gonna have a second guess, but go ahead.
when North American football was starting up, it actually started. The goalpost had just been invented by a Canadian. That's funny, but the game was getting a lot of traction. It was getting really big, really popular, especially amongst the collegiates. And they didn't have a name for it yet, but people were like, "This is going to be big. This game's going to be huge here. This is going to be like our football. This is going to be big, just like football is for the rest of the world. This is going to be like our version of football for the rest of the world." They just said it so much that they just kept it. They just kept calling it football.
Interesting.
Yeah, and that's an absolute studied and known fact that they just kept calling it, this is going to be like our football, and then they just ended up keeping the name because they never came up with another one. And then, of course, football, they just decided, well, let's just call that soccer because this one obscure place in the world calls it that. Even though it was a nickname and they were being ironic, they decided to try to rename a sport that was over 100 years older than their version of football, which I've always taken exception to.
Well, us Americans who try and do things our own way.
Well, yeah,
We don't give a shit about what the world thinks.
evidently. Like, we don't care if you've had football for over 100 years. We're going to rename your sport because we've taken your name for a sport that doesn't barely ever use a foot and definitely doesn't use a ball.
Oh well.
Yep. Saving before each match. I always save before each match because most of the crashes that happen in Football Manager are in matches. Actually, not crashes. Most of the freezes that happen, in-game freezes, are during matches. So, yeah, I save before and after usually. It's a very responsible thing to do. If you've tested,
praise them for giving up a penalty.
you test this game as long as I have, you know to save before and after every match. Because, yeah, the majority of freezes happen during that transitionary phase from the regular game to the match engine.
At least I can just.
So my backups just beat Bohemians 5-0. Domeniskov did not score on his debut, but he didn't play badly. How's Dundalk doing without Domeniskov? They playing okay? 2-1, it looks like.
Yeah, 2-1.
It says 90 minutes, so it should be over.
Yep, just doing my team talk.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. I was like, are they catching you up with a lot of Fergie time there? I hate it when they do that.
The worst 5 minutes of extra time.
Right?
So. When are Champions League games? Oh, no, I'm not in the Champions League this year, am I?
You're not in the Champions League.
Next year. I got one more year in the Champions League. Yeah. Against Panathinaikos, who we beat, and I assume will be better the second time around. So we should be favored again, in my opinion.
Is that what you think?
To beat them. You would think, right? Because you beat them last time around with a weaker squad.
I'm not going to disagree with you. I think that seems like a reasonable assumption.
Thanks. What did Matt say?
That you're a scruffy-looking nerf herder.
You know what? I will just be surprised.
Who's scruffy-looking? Sorry, Star Wars. Love it. There you go.
Who's this guy? Can we get this guy in on that'd be cool.
That would be cool.
His his $105,000 a week contract expires tomorrow. I don't think I can get him in on loan.
What is the best way to raise a player's attributes and current ability along with consistent match time? Cool. Training, individual training, and making sure that it isn't something complicated. Leaving this on a blank roll is better than giving it a specific role. Because right now, this player could train everything. And he will most likely train the things that he needs as. But if I do this, say, he's going to be limited to only the ones that light up. That's not a good thing. What if I want this guy to be decent at, corners? That's not going to be included. So leave these things normal. Intensity level you should be setting up within on this screen here.
Oh, that's another thing I should
But yeah, as far as training goes, uncomplicated is best. If you have younger guys that are in your under 18s, that's where you want to maybe put in your specific trainings. These specific trainings are better for if you want a younger player to learn a certain role. But once they've made your first team, I know a lot of people like to do this backwards. They do it the other way around. They'll give them all the general training when they're young, and then try to make them more specific once they made the first team. I dislike that simply because a lot of the younger guys in your under 18 squads are going to start picking up things they don't need attribute-wise, and you're wasting their fastest development years. So when they're younger, give them specific training roles, and once they've made your first team, put it on general. That's a neat trick right there for if you want to train players to reach their best potentials. Individual training, you should definitely do it yourself if you've got the time. Never let the assistant manager do anything in this game if you can help it, except for maybe the interviews, because I can't be bothered with those.
So, individual training, like the additional focus, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
What I do, I have that right on my squad screen.
Mm-hmm.
And so instead of going to training, additional focus.
Oh no, I'm not. Sorry, no, I'm not talking about additional focus. I'm talking about position role duty.
I have that up as well.
Yeah.
I have both of them.
Position role duty, leave it blank. Additional focus, again, you can definitely throw some of those things on there if you need somebody to round out something specific. But I like doing that with just my younger players. Once they're first team, I just leave them. I very rarely use the additional focus because almost always the players will get overwhelmed by it.
I'm asking you to do more than what you're supposed to.
Well, that's it, eh? And it really depends. Like if you look at a player and you think, okay, I really need this guy. He's 17 years old, and I really need him to be my next penalty taker. Then fine, give him an additional focus of taking penalties. He's going to get tired, but at least he's just a junior player that's whining. Hopefully, it doesn't lead to any injuries and slowing down his development, but that's a risk you take. Those are those dice that you roll. I mean, I prefer to use PPMs than individual focuses. But I mean, the best way to train penalty taking, if you got a decent young player at it, is put him in the penalty taking role. But then again, that's starting to micromanage your under 18s, and we don't all do that. Because, yeah, you can't necessarily get in here and set your set pieces. Unless you take control of this.
Significant downgrade. No, thank you.
Players' preferred moves is a PPM. I'll give you an example. This guy here has player traits right here. Except for now we're moving on, so I'll go back. No, not at all. It's not your fault. I'll just go back and do it again.
It is, technically.
So these player traits he has place shots, likes to round the keeper, runs with ball often. Those are all things that you can train in here. Right here. No. There it is. Sorry, they moved it over here. So you can go in here. Like I could have this tactical coach make this guy stop running with the ball so often or something like that, right? Like you can go. So PPMs, players' preferred moves. Those are good to get onto younger players if you can. Although now, putting them in the right mentoring group, you can learn them from other people who already have them. Yeah, they're called PPMs. Rueg is not for sale. Beat it. Walkery is not for sale. Beat it. So we're going to have a lot of people coming after my freaking right backs because I signed too many of them. It's my own fault. Now I have a bunch of hard decisions to make because Melvin Lambert rejected the contract offer from Blackpool. He's making my life difficult.
Good.
How is my finances now that I did that? Oh, not too bad. Not too bad. I'm still just under my wage budget for the time being, and I've got a healthy surplus of transfer budget.
Oh,
But Gory is now making 8,000 a week. If you would have told me at the start of this I'd have an 8,000 a week player, I'd just faint.
that's good enough for now. Okay. One thing they should change in the game, right? A player has a contract bid for Team X, right?
Mm.
And then Team Y comes in and wants to see the player on trial. They
Mm.
should allow Team Y to have the player on trial for like a week or 2 weeks or whatever, or at least for some players, um, and still keep the contract with Team A open.
Oh, I
I
see.
just, it just whenever and I do it accidentally sometimes. Like I'll have a mass of players, come in on trial, and then one was already had a contract bid. I guess it's considered two different contracts, and he picks the one with more money, obviously, the one that's going to give him money.
Mm.
So sometimes I'll lose out on a player. It doesn't happen often,
Mm-hmm.
but when it does, it's frustrating.
That is frustrating. I agree. That sounds frustrating. Yes, Kelleher is vastly underrated on this. I've already expressed my displeasure, along with many others, on the SI forums to the Liverpool researcher. But his hands are tied because they won't let you raise the potential abilities of players too drastically all at once. Even if you know a player is going to be great, I don't even know. There's so many new limitations and rules on the researchers that I don't even know what to tell you about that one. But if you want my personal opinion, it's because a lot of the head researchers are very Manchester United centric, and they don't want Liverpool players being too overrated. They just want to make their own overrated. I went there. Why did I sign this idiot? I
The idiot that went to my team?
No, Jake Kelly. Why did I sign him?
Oh, why did you sign him?
Yeah,
You
I
probably
guess
needed a left back.
I was desperate for backup. And,
This guy's on 5.5 a week. I offered him 5.5 a week.
you can never tell by play yet. Isn't that funny though? You can totally tell by playing the game that it's very biased towards Manchester United, but for some reason they'll just vehemently deny that if you ever bring it up. Like when I was doing my testing phase for this game, Manchester, like I did 19 seasons of the first season that I played through in order to test things. Manchester United won the Premier League in 17 of them. I'm like, you really think they're that good?
No, I do not think they're that good.
No. Nobody thinks Manchester United's that good except for the researchers of Football Manager.
This guy was someone I want to get in. But you probably want a lot of money. How much money do you want, buddy? You only want to be a squad player, and you want 4,000 a week. I don't know if I can afford that.
4,000 a week is a lot for a team that isn't currently playing in the Champions League.
Yeah, and I'm. Oh no,
Oh
I'm 12,000.
no!
I'm 12,000 under my payroll budget. Never mind.
Yeah, he leads the league in scoring in most of my playthroughs. Yeah, freaking Pinaldo.
This guy looks pretty good too. I'm starting to get that multi-position flexibility again with a lot of my players,
Woo!
like I had last year.
Woo! That is a really good way to go about things. All right, made some small adjustments. DJ Satona is now a backup 11 player. Holy crap. That's some serious upgrading I'm doing over here.
Also, don't forget that anyone you want for your Champions League team should be in by your first Champions League game. Otherwise, they won't be able to be registered until next year.
Oh, by the 8th.
That's what happened. Yeah, 'cause that's what happened with me. I had a lot of players who weren't eligible for Europe because I signed them in our off season and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. No, I think I'm done with transfer moves for now, so I should be all right. Yeah, no, I don't. I don't really want to break my bank too badly at the moment. I think you know what?
To stay here.
I feel like I could upgrade my under 19s manager, but I'm gonna keep him anyway. Just because he's so smiley and friendly. Sure, yeah.
Let's see how much do you
Under 19 sports side, that's not that bad. Good enough for me. 14 is good.
It's 14,000 a week. Fuck no.
I think I could improve those staff members.
2024. Higgins can go. Diaby's gonna go. Calderon's gonna go.
Player on general training, how does match practice affect the development? What does one thing have to do with the other? I'm not sure I understand the question. Offers made for De La Fuente. Okay. This is worth considering. I may have to go after another player.
Only your physicals are good, and you're mainly a center midfielder.
4,200 to sit on my bench.
Scout report. You want 8,000 a week. I don't want. Guess I'm gonna give it to you. He's much more attacking than he is defensive.
I'm accepting that bid. I may sell De La Fuente.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. You want to be an important player. You want to. Let's give you squad player.
Now I understand what you're saying. So individual roles. Right. Good question. So if I have a player playing wingback attack, okay, and you play him or train him like that, then those are the attributes it will focus on, but there's a chance of it still going into something else like long throws or what have you, because you don't have him on a specific development program. But keeping him on general means he still will train as an attacking right back. There you go. Simple. Like I said, keeping it simple is good. But if you go in and you train him on just wingback attack, it won't train anything but the highlighted attributes at all. So you can actually slow their development. Got a new scope. Yep, I understand. There are rare instances where it's a good idea to be specific with an attribute because, say, you got a box-to-box midfielder who has like nothing for finishing. Maybe you want to focus on that a little bit. Hey, Jacob, a box-to-box midfielder with no finishing? You wouldn't know anything about that.
Who are you referring to?
You just got him a little while back. You were telling me all about how his attributes, and you're like, "Oh, he's going to play box to box." Like he has no
Oh,
finishing.
yeah. Wait. I think. Let me see if I can find him now.
Yeah,
Peter Kane.
must have been what it was. Yeah, BBMs are all right. Yeah, I mean, the midfield is one of those. Everybody has a different philosophy for their midfield, and I think it's great.
He doesn't have that bad attributes for a 16-year-old.
No, you're right. He's 16. He's only going to get better. I just thought it was funny that you're playing him as a BBM with no finishing. Yeah,
All right. I see what you're saying. But to be fair, his finishing is better than his positioning. First attribute.
that's not better.
Oh, even better? 5 tackling.
Oh man, yeah, he's a box to box, all right.
We're gonna get him to a 20 tackling and 20 positioning
I believe
and
you.
15 finishing. That's
I,
the goal.
I totally believe you.
Oh man.
That's awesome. Squad play. Okay, so I got a new scout. Ugh, I guess I gotta go assign him to something. Ooh, I wish I knew what my last scout that left was assigned to. Let's see, you're assigned to next opposition.
That's another. Well,
Hot prospects. Regular starters.
what place is Shelbourne in? Let's take a look.
Squad player, hot prospect, hot prospect. Okay.
Start.
There we go.
Where's my other striker? Where is my other striker? Here he is. Okay.
I don't think I've played with a box-to-box midfielder in a tactic in a couple of seasons, anyways.
You haven't or you have?
I haven't.
Oh.
No, they're quite good. I have nothing against them. I've just been playing with other things. I do enjoy them. I use a Mazzala instead. Yes. Yeah.
See, I only got stuff out of the Mazzalas in last year's game. I haven't tried Mazzalas in this year's game at all, I don't think.
Well, I mean,
Right? Because I think my 2 midfielders in last year's game were Mazzalas, and then I had a deep lying playmaker.
yeah. No, I'm finding right now my Mazzala is not doing all that I would like him to do. So, you know what? Just for you guys, I'm probably going to go ahead and switch him to a box-to-box midfielder. I think maybe the reason I didn't do it at the start of this save is I didn't have a good one.
Did I tell you a role that isn't used often that I used a lot this year, though?
What's that?
The anchor position for the defensive midfielder.
You're right. That is underutilized.
My Houston save, having him sit right in front of my 2 center defenders, I rarely concede goals up the middle.
That's wonderful.
Almost non-existent.
That's obviously exactly what you're hoping to get out of that position. So that's great.
And
Mhm.
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to respond that you like attacking the channels, get further forward instructions combined. I enjoy a box to box midfielder with get further forward as well. So I'm probably actually going to switch mine to that. But go ahead, Jacob.
And I think I use it because it just stemmed from a lot of the goals that I gave up in FM21 were up the middle. My center defenders were I just not doing what they were supposed to do, and or my deep lying playmaker was out of position.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's just like a reaction to that. But
Yeah,
like, obviously, I understand the different match engines, but like when you have so many hours in that game, you just kind of your first instinct is to like fix what you had, I guess, or fix your tactic.
true story.
And yeah,
Yeah,
using the 442 diamond, that whole save.
well, I mean, this one for me, when we started this save, I plugged this tactic in and it fit what I had. I didn't have a good box to box midfielder. I had a guy that had low finishing and not very good marking. So I'm like, well, that's not a box to box midfielder. But he had some other decent attributes. So it's like, okay, I'm just going to make him a blank central midfielder. And then I had a guy who had some decent attacking but no defensive ability. So I made him a Masala. And then I've just been doing so well, I haven't wanted to change my tactic at all. I haven't changed it since the first day I put it in. And I mean, I did.
Either.
I mean, but this current version of this tactic I put in season 2. My very very first one was similar but not the same. You remember I changed formations
Yes.
to a diamond, yeah, because before I was using something else. But now I'm winning games I shouldn't be, so I just don't dare mess with it. That's been mostly my philosophy.
And it's that sound thinking too. Like you said,
Yeah,
you're winning games,
yeah,
and so you don't change something that's not broken.
precisely.
You slightly improve upon it, and at this point, you've done all you can. It's just now getting the
Yeah,
players to fit your system.
which is what I've been doing, and it's been.
Exactly.
Plus, my players are mostly familiar with it, and that helps a lot, obviously.
Absolutely.
But I don't know. I just Eccles on box to box, get further forward right now, just see how he does this game. He hasn't been getting the goals and assists I would like out of Mazzala, and that's a fact. But I also see him creating space in other ways, so I don't worry that much about it. Because I mean,
Because he's still contributing.
yeah, but I like the width that a Mazzala has. I find my box to box kind of bumps into the back of my Shadow Striker a little bit. But we'll see how it goes. I'm watching now, and yeah, sometimes because the box to box goes more straight back and forth, whereas a Mazzala will drift wide.
Uh huh.
Know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
yeah. I am not playing with a playmaker currently. Often I would,
And
but I'm not right now.
I guess that worked well for me last year, my two Mazzalas, because I used the 442 diamond, and my fullbacks would be the only width that I had. So with the Mazzalas, like you said, they drift outside more, so
Yeah,
can help
yeah.
overload the sides.
In lieu of a playmaker, I've had a central midfielder on support, but he's getting further forward as well and taking more risks, dribbling more. I'm seeing him play the role of a playmaker better. See, he would be a deep lying playmaker if I played him in his preferred role, but I'm not. But if you look,
Mm-hmm.
dude's got 16 assists and 17 goals. He's
So
he's
he's doing something right.
he's doing just fine as a playmaker without the playmaker role.
Mm,
Yeah. So again, I don't necessarily need to play him as a playmaker to make him have a playmaker role.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. How's your game going?
Good. I'm up 3-0 already.
Are you gonna keep the clean sheet,
I have no
or
idea.
did I just jinx it away?
It's a
Because
cup, so
I just jinxed my clean sheet.
I'll tell you that Illich has a hat trick. So that's my attacking midfielder, my shadow striker, doing his job, and I've been so happy with him.
Gave up 2 penalties in 2 games.
Exactly.
Not good.
You did? Oof! Don't do that.
Yeah, we did.
Too much aggressive tackling in the box, maybe.
No, I stopped using tackle harder on
Oh,
my
really?
tactics
Really?
because of that. Yeah.
That's interesting enough. All right, I'm going to take off Melbourne. I'm going to trade Dobson, and I'm going to put in. Eh, I waited till late for subs because I don't need to make them. Gosh, my wingbacks are interchangeable now. Beautiful. I love that. I love that. Yes, it's some awesome versatility for them. I'm very good with that.
Ours was a 2-1 victory.
Sweet. So you're in the final.
Nope, it was a league game.
Oh, I'm in a cup game.
You knocked us out.
Oh, that's right. We had to play each other in the freaking quarterfinal. Stupid game. Don't they know they're only allowed to make us play against each other in the finals?
I don't
I,
think we've played in a final yet.
I demand that they rig. Yes, we have. I demand that they rig every draw so that we can only play each other in the finals. Yeah.
I mean, you have the money to rig it. Why don't you?
Yeah. See, we have all the power in this football league, and the only one who could rival us is you. And I'm sure you would agree with this.
No, I want you to
Every
get knocked out in the first round, so I don't have to worry about you.
every Irish Cup final should just be you and I in the final, and the rest of the teams can stay home.
Save them the trip and the money.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a couple of times we would have played each other in the final, and you lost to somebody else in the semifinal. That happened twice.
There's also that time we bottled the league when we were 9 points clear with 7 games left.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about. Yeah, season 2, you had the league wrapped up almost. My game's done.
I'm not sorry. No, I was talking about last year's game.
Oh, right. Sorry, that's right. Yeah, you had that.
Liverpool won. And you were like, I want you to win the league, but I want Liverpool to win at the same time.
I couldn't lose. Yeah, either way, somebody I was rooting for was going to win. But that's right. You had 9 points clear of Liverpool, and yeah, it was. It was 9. So, yeah,
Bad memories.
that was harsh, man. The worst thing is being like, I didn't even catch up. I finished third. So.
Yeah. It was a cup final. You just won.
Yeah, sorry. I thought it was a semifinal, but no. We've retained it. I've now won it 4 out of the 5 seasons, apparently. Illich got a hat trick. Yeah, I'm happy to keep cups.
We got, 4 more games until Europa League?
Yep.
Who do you play in Europe for the first round?
I don't remember. Good question. I'm going to play. Oh, yeah, no, that's some Swedish team I've never heard of. You hate English scouts. Okay. That's oddly specific.
Why? Why do you hate English scouts?
Yeah, what did they ever do? They're just so British.
But then you can say the same thing about Scottish scouts and
They're
Welsh scouts.
they're just so smelly.
Oh, well, sure. All right, let's try a new contract with you, Stritzel, or you still don't want to talk. You still don't want to talk to us.
None of them ever go abroad. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. They don't have any foreign knowledge. If they have a high enough adaptability, you can just ignore that and send them anyway. Although I think, Jacob, you discovered via one of the YouTubers that scouting individual nations is actually highly effective now in this one, as opposed to areas.
You can almost disregard adaptability. It's always a plus, but you want to make sure that when you send a scout on a scouting mission, that he can speak the language of the country that he's in. So, take an English scout, for example, you'd want him to go to other British Isle nations or the US or Canada, Australia, because they're able to get knowledge quicker.
I'm not saying to ignore it. I'm saying he's actually right.
What?
Sorry, I was just. No, keep going.
Okay. And only do 3 or 4 nations at a time. If you tend to go more than that, do nations as opposed to regions. Don't do regions. That was another thing I learned, and Yeah, a couple of nations at a time. So like, send an English scout to the U.S. and Canada, then send him to Australia. Um, Send a German scout to Germany, to Austria, to Switzerland. Don't send them to like Africa, for example.
Yeah.
It just that they don't get any knowledge at all.
So no, what I was saying is that he is right about those things. So I'm not saying ignore his video at all. I'm saying that in this instance he is correct. But
Well, he's
no,
not right for everything.
no, he's right about lots of things. I'm just saying he's not right all the time. That's my only complaint is that he's not right all of the time. But he acts like he is, and he is right quite often. Okay, so don't get me wrong here. And no, Wayne, we are not smuggling people in cargo containers. I feel like you entered that conversation halfway through and decided that's what we were talking about. Although the context of where he was talking to when you said that kind of aligns up, yeah. Smuggling people in cargo containers. That's horrible, man. Let's not talk about the human rights violations involved with this. Too funny. Okay, so I kind of want to sell this guy. You're for sale.
I don't think we can make an offer for you. I don't want to make an offer for you anyways.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's true. Yep, that's exactly right. Yeah. The hard part being for me, and I guess this is where some people are different than others, is that if he has been proven wrong in the past, he doesn't admit it. He
Mhm.
won't retract things when he's been proven wrong. That's what bugs me. I can't say I'm right 100% of the time, but if I'm wrong about something, I'll come back and be like, oh, by the way, I was wrong about this thing. A dozen Brazilian strikers? Dude, who buys a dozen Brazilian strikers? I mean, at least try to buy one from each position.
Don't why even in the beginning? Why even try to get Brazilian strikers when you can go to Colombia and get them for 10 cents on the dollar?
God, we're playing the wrong game here, guys. We need to play.
It's true though.
Yeah, no, we need to play humans the human trafficking game rather than Football Manager here.
No, but that's another thing he said. It's like if you're gonna get somebody from like Cruzario or like even Boca Juniors, or I know I'm talking Argentina, but like any of the top Brazilian or Argentinian clubs, you're gonna be spending $35 million on that player. Whereas you can probably find somebody similar in at Colo Colo
Yeah,
in Uruguay.
you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Some nations are overpriced compared to others,
Um,
simply for the
and
brand name. Chile. That's a good one. Good shout. Yeah.
Chile, that's where they are. Colo Colo's in Chile.
Yes.
I should have known that.
I didn't even think or register it as you were saying it. I just assumed knew what you were talking about. My bad. My bad.
Oh, oh, at least I could sound smart.
Absolutely. You made a really good point. The point remains, regardless of where the clubs are located, some nations are more expensive for others arbitrarily. Colo Colo is the big club in Chile. That's right, they are. But
Yeah.
Católica is bigger? Católica? How do I say that? Católica? Did I say that right the first time? Maybe. I have no idea. I don't know that
I've
one.
never heard of that club, so I do not believe that they're bigger than Colo Colo.
Católica.
I saw a Colo
Católica.
Colo banner.
Católica.
I saw a Colo Colo banner at Red Bull Arena on Sunday.
Okay.
So
Right on.
I'm willing to say that they're
Católica.
bigger.
I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Católica. Yeah. Neat. I learned a new thing today. I don't know nearly as many of the clubs in the world as I'd like. And I like even fewer of them than I ought. I think I just rearranged a Lord of the Rings quote there. Okay, you got it. You got it. Ah, shit.
So that team that he says,
Mm-hmm.
Catholica or whatever,
Cthulhuca.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, eighth biggest stadium in Chile,
Mm-hmm.
and it's what is it? It's 14,000. The biggest is 48,000, and it's Universidad de Chile. Then Colo Colo has the next biggest. Then Everton has the third biggest stadium in Chile.
Wow.
So I knew there was an Everton in South America.
You were right. Why make new names for things when you can just keep reusing the same ones over and over?
Yeah, there's a few South American clubs not only sound or have similar names to like European clubs,
Yeah.
but their logos look like almost the same as well.
Cthulhuca are the second most successful Chilean club. They're the second most successful. That's a big deal.
It is.
But Colo Colo have won the most. Well, sure they have. That explains why most people have heard of them. What's that old Seinfeld joke? In the Olympics, it's like some of the uh, some of the events are literally by fragments of a millimeter, but nobody remembers the person in second place. It's like first gold medal, never heard of them. All right, what do I want to do here? I think I want to go for my backup team. Then I got Champions League. Okay, Team B it is.
Who's
E-
that?
Even easier to decide since one of my key players is suspended. Who's what?
He should give me like random club names and see if I can figure out where they're located. Oh, it's fun.
Is that a fun game? That'd be a fun game.
For me, it would be.
Very well.
You would just have to let me know if and when he does one, because I don't have the chat up on my.
Understood.
Uh,
If I see one, I will attempt to pronounce it. Hopefully, probably badly, but I'll make an attempt.
hey, just give it your A+ effort. That's all you
That's right.
need.
Hopefully, it's one I've heard of. I can almost always pronounce the ones I've heard of because I will have already practiced it once or twice.
I would hope so.
But yeah, no, I mean, I haven't gotten to do any of the South American scouting or testing, so I mean, I don't know much about them. I should make a point of just playing some of those divisions to learn about them at some point.
Yeah, that's one thing I would try to do every game is to play in a league I've never played before.
Hmm.
But my issue is I tend to only have 2 or 3 saves in an entire season.
Yeah,
Oh, what a goal!
understood.
So
And
like
yeah,
it's like one save is dedicated to MLS, the other one would be dedicated to like Rochdale or
right.
some other English club, and then like the one I have now is my Egyptian saves. Like that's my third save right there.
Hmm. It'll probably go right through to the end. I did one in China a couple of years
Yeah.
back. That was entertaining.
Oh, you like the foreign limits of like only having 5 foreigners or whatever?
But you got a lot of
You have to have a
money.
You have to have a Chinese goalkeeper as well.
I,
Minimum.
I thought it was really entertaining
Yeah.
to play that one. It was yeah. I didn't like the limitations, but being able to spend a whole bunch of money on a washed up European player was kind of funny.
But it's interesting. You know how so many people like putting limitations on themselves during a save?
Right. China's a
Like
good one.
why not just play in a league that does? Yeah. China, Russia
Hmm.
does it as well.
Hmm.
Where else do you? Italy with only 2 non-EU players a year.
Yeah, that one is more difficult. Italy is amazing how they have that limitation.
Yeah, and they still field great teams
They do.
in real life.
That's right. Just goes to show if you spend some time and develop your own national players, you can go far. England hasn't gotten this memo
Oh,
yet.
speaking of developing, did you hear about what the Italian national team has asked Serie A to do? They
No.
asked, or it might have been the Italian government. They asked Serie A to postpone all the games till the upcoming international break, so the international players could have, or the Italian players could have more time to prepare for their games. Their their game against, I think it's North Macedonia,
Yep.
where if they lose, they're out of the World Cup entirely.
Right.
So postponing that's how much they care about soccer. Postponing the whole league so the national team can be well rested.
That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I wish I heard it on online, not online, on the radio. I can't find an article.
Timena's cause has put us ahead by one. Finally.
Oh, we're up by 5.
I'm only up 1-0 now. Timeneskov just got his first goal for me.
We should try scoring a couple more.
Okay, well, here comes Satona. There it is, 2-0, Satona.
There you go.
Yeah. I do have 7 shots on goal. And an XG of 2, and I've scored 2, so this is good.
All right. Well, hold on. We have 17 shots, 11 on target, 5 in the net, and a 2.3 xG.
Oh,
And they have
that's
a big dud.
a big dud. I like
Yeah,
that.
no
I like
fouls.
that
Oh,
part.
now
That
they got
part's my
one
favorite.
shot.
That part's my favorite. They have a big dud. They're just a bunch of doo-doo heads.
Yeah, pretty much.
I do
Although I
enjoy.
stupidly, uh,
You
you
stupidly did
enjoy.
something. I want to know.
Oh, I let my assistant pick the team, and so obviously he's just gonna pick the best 11 that's like fit
Obviously.
for the game. And I realized I didn't need to do that for this game, but oh well. 6 goals before halftime is always fun.
It's true. You're not wrong about that. I'm letting Timeneskov have this penalty. Oh, he didn't score. Oh, but he scored on the rebound. So we're good.
Aww. Get to celebrate.
Let him take the penalty. I want to get his confidence up. But I'm liking my backup 11 because it's a really good mix of good players and young players that are, coming along. So I'm glad we're not dropping points, left, right, and center right now. That would make this.
You're 12 points ahead of me. You could drop as many points as you wish. I think you've lost too, right?
I have not.
Or
That's the point.
you drew games.
Yeah, I drew one. I don't think I've lost a game yet. That's why I care.
Fair enough.
The only thing better than one undefeated season is 2.
I expect you to get a lot more undefeated seasons.
I've never had 2 in a row.
Fair enough.
It would be new and uncharted territory, but I mean, this Irish save is my best chance at it, yeah. Because other than you, not many of the teams have improved a lot. Like even now, my young players, after the amount they've played, would be starting players on any other team but yours.
Don't let up a goal now. You're
My
not going to get to take dinner if you do.
my B team is better than the team I had in the first season by a lot.
It's offsides.
Mitchell! That was a nice goal. Okay.
Who are you playing? Oh, Finn Harps.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's an okay team in our division. I am done. Let's see how you're. 4-0 for me. 7-0 for you. Look at you go.
Thank you.
You can safely join that game. Won't screw you up.
Swear.
Yeah. Ooh, look at all those goals and assists. Oh, Ward is having a cracker of a game with the assists. Oh, yeah, right. You playing Super Speedy.
Well, see, it doesn't look like on my computer, which is
No.
a fun thing.
It is. It's
So, like, when we play, it obviously goes on your speed since it's slower.
Grant Ward has a goal and 3 assists. Sorry. Wow. Mind blown. Good game. But yeah, on your computer it looks different because if it's 2D.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wait. Gotta do it.
Goalkeeper.
Yes, sir.
Stritzel will step up for the penalty. He does this. Puts his goalkeeper in. Sometimes when you don't even have a big lead, you're doing this.
Do I have a player on 2 goals? Can you check?
Huh? I don't know how to check from this screen.
Hoban. Hoban's on 2 goals. Hold on.
Yeah, how about has a brace?
I have to change that setting.
Yeah. Yeah, he's on a brace, definitely.
There you go.
But Ward, wow, what a game out of him.
Let's see if it went through.
Yep.
There we go.
Up steps Florian Stritzel.
To the keeper's right.
Oh, he blew it.
It's the first miss by a goalkeeper I've ever had.
It is. You've had some very good luck with those guys kicking your penalties.
Wow, Stritzel. You should have scored that.
You really should have. I agree with you.
It's a 12-yard pass to the corner. That's all it is.
Pretty much.
Anything more than that, you're just getting in your own head.
I would have a hard time disagreeing with you.
Grant Ward. 1 goal, 3 assists, 6 shots on target. A 9.9. That was only his 9th league game of the season. I guess he's trying to prove something to me.
Mm-hmm. That would be my guess also.
He's still going back on the bench, so it's no worries.
I didn't have any to begin with.
Let's see. Shamrock, Shelburne, Shamrock. So, backups. Playing backups the next game. So,
19 matches won in a row.
yeah, I could have had like 25 if it wasn't for you.
That's true. You were also in a very nice streak until we played each other. I'm sorry about that. It's like, immovable object meets a unstoppable force. Yeah, I have 1 draw this year. 1 draw. 1 draw and no losses so far. So I'm on pace to better last year's total.
Which was?
I don't remember. But you just said you better do better next year.
I said that?
Yeah, you did.
Well, you listened. Good job.
Evidently. I was like, I don't know if I can do better than that. It was a pretty amazing season. Just let me look here. This one, I'm going to go look back. So last year I had 34 wins and 2 draws.
Oh, so you're not really technically on better. I mean, you only have 1 tie this year.
I've only won 1 draw, so I got to win every game from here on out. Oh, shit.
Yep.
Not unthinkable, but I haven't had too many. You gave me the closest games.
Yeah. I wonder if I can get you in on loan now that you signed the deal. Let's try.
I do not have a clean sheet against you this season.
No, and it's probably going to just stay like that. I'll be able to score, but I won't be able to defend.
I mean, I beat you 3-1 in the last match, but that's with a goal in the last second. So really, it was 2-1. The other one before that was 3-1. No, the time before that was 4-1. But those aren't.
I guess we were improving. Like 4-1, then 3-1, then 3-1. It should have been a 2-1.
That one should have been a 2-1 because we got a fluky goal at the end.
I need some cookies. I don't think we have any though.
Can I have some?
If you can find some, yeah, as long as you share.
Nice.
Your contract is up at the end of 20. You have a year left on your deal. I'm not going to give you a new contract just yet.
Wait, Hadley's unregistered? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. He might be mad at me. Nope.
I think I might be screwed because of the home for European competitions.
Oh, really?
I think so. What is it? You need 8 homegrown players?
Yeah, I should have.
Let's see if I can do the registration now and see how.
I need a minimum of 4 players trained by St. Pat's. That's the 4 slots I had to leave open because I don't have a single one trained by my club. A minimum of 8 players trained in Ireland. I have 5. We should have
I
more than
have
5.
1 player that's homegrown in Nation. That's Hoban.
We have like 15 Irish players on my squad right now. A lot of them are not homegrown.
I wonder how many I have in my squad.
All right, Lundulu is my new striker. He is now partnered with Gabriel Gorey. Dan Lundulu that I picked up from Southampton. My team is ridiculous up top. I have 2 low Premier League quality strikers. And I don't mean Irish Premier League. I mean English Premier League. I mean, they're really actually championship quality strikers, but they could compete a little bit in the Premier League.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have to leave 9 places out.
Wow, 9.
Yeah.
You might want to start rectifying that next season. Sign some bodies that are homegrown.
Higgins, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I mean, you're only registering 16 players.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I might have done something similar.
You won't even have a full bench.
Yeah, but I was able to rotate the squads. 1 for Europe, 1 for the league.
Right.
Almost exclusively.
Yeah, but
So
that's a tough one, man.
it is.
Okay, I have sold De La Fuente. That is not something I expected to do. But that is what has happened.
But you did.
I did it anyway. Because, I mean, he got taken over by Petko Ristov this season as a starter. So I'm paying him $4,200 to sit on my bench. That's entirely too much. for a team that,
Exactly.
considering I just had to give Gori a raise to 8,000, and I just signed Lundulu, who makes 7,000. Yeah, I don't want my wage bill to swell too high, so I need to get rid of players who are not playing as much. And
Absolutely.
yeah, I wish Melvin Lambert rejected that contract, which is just a shame because I'm giving him
Hmm.
1,300 to not play. Brought in Temeneskov at only 1,800, but he's going to play more. We'll see how that goes. I mean, that might have been a risky signing at his wage too. But now I have to figure out what I want to do about my central defenders. I don't have enough of them, and today was the deadline to get them in for Champions League.
It was.
Was it not?
No, not for me.
Oh, okay.
I was just seeing how my registration would look.
Well, it just made
So
me
I
do
just
it just made me do registration. So
mm,
yeah, I think I'm hosed. Hosed, that tells you. Hosed. So now what am I going to do about central defenders? Uh so no, I want that. Let's dig into. I want somebody younger because I have 2 starters. I just need a backup. 11,000 a week. How do you people afford these guys? 4,700 a week. $21-year-old free agent. This guy's not bad. Okay, you want to come be a backup player on my team? For only 300 a week. Now we're talking. You know what? I'm going to give you more than you're asking for so I can get you in a long-term contract. Oh, I love it when I find a bargain. And this one I was just not even really actually trying that hard to look for.
with no release clause.
He's a free agent. He's just sitting here not being signed by anybody. He's 6'4" with 16 jumping, and
When you signed the contract with him, you didn't have a
oh,
release clause.
he's not that good. I'm not worried about losing him. If somebody comes and offers me money for a guy I just signed for free, I'm going to be okay with it. Because yeah, I just sold De La Fuente. That's crazy to me. But I was really happy somebody came in for an offer on him. I'm like, that is an expensive player who's not in my starting 11. So it only stands to reason selling him would make sense. All right.
Take backups for this game, right?
I guess that means that my 16-year-old center back prospect is going to get a lot more playing time. That can't be all bad. Just going to look at this,
Where
though.
was I sending my backups? First team.
So that new guy I signed can take a backup position. Yeah, screw it. I'll just play Mahon. Mahon? I think it's Mahon. That's what it looks like. So I'm calling him that. And fitness is okay. Yeah, we're good. Let's go play this Swedish team I've never heard of and see how it goes. Maybe they'll clobber us for no good reason.
We'll do fine.
I expect to do okay. Yeah, I just never know, though. possibility always exists that a team from out of nowhere like this could just smash us around and remind us what division we're actually in.
A league that moved up 13 places in the coefficient. So
Hey, we're doing well. We're doing well. Are we above Sweden, though?
yeah,
Oh, well, then cakewalk, right?
we play Shamrock, who's in third. Any news to start at the beginning of the game yet, or nothing interesting?
Nothing yet. I mean, I just started it.
Oh, I thought you were already in the game. My
No,
bad.
I'm in the 8th minute now. And we are putting on some pressure, and there's a goal. Illich with his 18th of the
Oh, look
season.
at that. I just had to ask.
Yeah. Why, you got a goal in yours?
Nope, we probably just conceded. Let's see. Yep.
That's not the best idea
Great,
you've ever had.
great, great. Nah.
Tell Grant Ward to have another great game like he just had. God, that was a good game. My midfielder got a goal and 3 assists in one game. I'd be pretty stoked on him.
Yeah, he gets the steak dinner and a dessert.
Ooh. Sweet.
Sorry. Come on, let's fix this. There we go.
One nil at halftime.
Only you, me, and Shamrock have a positive goal differential.
Mm-hmm.
3 out of the 10 teams. Next best goal differential is minus 14.
Wow. Unexpected.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't want to make too many changes because I was hoping to find a second goal, but we're only squeezing out a 1-0 game right now, and I'm not thrilled about that.
And it looks like we're going to lose 1-0.
Oh, yeah, there's a goal. All right. Made the right changes, I guess. You're going to lose 1-0. That's a very tight game.
Maybe 2.
Is that your home game?
No, we're away.
Well, that's not terrible then. I hope you can do something big at home then.
Yeah, we should.
This is my home game, so that's why I was disappointed to have only had a 1-0 lead. But now we're up 2, and it's a little better, but our XG is way higher than that. So, this is an okay 2-0 win.
2-1. 5 minutes left.
It's 2-1. Oh, wait, you're in this other competition down here. Wait. This one. You're not in Euro Cup 2?
Oh, it's a league game. We are, but we don't have a game today.
God damn it. Okay,
What?
got it. Understood. I just was looking for your game, trying to figure out how you were doing, but oh, I see.
Yeah, we're playing Shamrock Rovers, so
Oh, I understand now.
can't play them in Europe yet.
Oh, I see. Oh, and they're beating you.
Oh, they beat us.
Oh, they don't deserve it.
Nope.
Well, there's your
They
game in
don't
hand.
deserve. Yeah. Now I have to finish in second because there's Champions League on the line.
How did they respond to that? Pro Sports Human Trafficking Cartel. Well, on the bright side, you are still quite comfortably ahead of Shamrock Rovers. But yeah, I know you want. I know you wanted better from that.
Mm.
Cannot blame you there. Certain mob bosses would have their own collectible players, so it's kind of like trading cards. Oh, Jesus. Good stuff. So next goal, I think I might look to upgrade one of my midfielders. Might be my next big move.
Okay.
I like my midfield. They're really good, but I feel like it's the quote unquote weakest position of my team now. I mean, I slowly and incrementally have to upgrade my players to be better and better quality if I want to compete, right? So,
That's true.
I mean, Robbie Benson is still my first choice spare at 32 years old.
Wow.
That's probably something I can improve upon.
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, my starters is Eccles and Montez. They're both quite good, but they're also low championship quality, and I feel like I could do. Yeah, that's the compound of this. They have an entire Olympic sports center, an Astrodome, and a ski jump.
What are we talking about?
Wayne's idea
Oh,
for
his idea.
pro sports human trafficking cartel. Certain mob bosses can have their own collectible players, and you can tell a cartel base by the amount of stadiums it had. That's the compound of the Sons of Diablo cartel. They have an entire Olympic sports center, an Astrodome, and a ski jump. This whole thing is yes, it's very brain warpy, but exceptionally
I
comical.
will tend to agree with you on that.
Yeah, Darlington, piss off, Darlington. They're making an offer for that same defender I wanted. I would be pissed if he chose Darlington over my team.
Yeah, me too.
Hey Sparks, how's it
Ooh,
going?
who's this?
That would be really just humiliating if you chose a Van national team over me.
This keeper looks pretty darn good.
No American team in this game? What do you mean?
Huh?
I don't understand the question.
I mean, do we have USA loaded in this save?
I'm not sure.
Is view only?
Maybe
Yeah,
that's what
we
he's
do.
asking. Maybe he's asking. We do have USA loaded? Okay.
Yeah,
Then there
let's
are
see.
American teams in the safe, eh? Maybe that's what he's
The
asking.
Red Bulls are in first. Well, I don't recognize any of these player names.
A team from America, or that represents. I mean, we have USA loaded in the database, but we're. Is that what you mean?
It seems to have a rivalry between NYCFC and Atlanta United right now. They've won the last 3 MLS Cups.
Oh, what do you know? Yeah, we have MLS. Oh, yeah, we have MLS loaded in the game. Just for fun, I think. I think it's on view only. I think it's on view only, though, isn't it? It's not on playable.
Probably.
Yeah, I wouldn't have put it on
We also
playable
have
because we don't plan on playing there.
we also have Argentina and Brazil loaded. Well, that's probably on view only as well. Let's check.
I have a sneaking suspicion that is the case.
Oh, I can't even check the detail level. Only you
What?
can.
I guess I'll have a look then. Shave it up and it's not in here. There it is. Add remove leagues. Okay, so yeah, we have. This game is nothing like PES or FIFA. This is all management.
Think of it as like FIFA manager mode on steroids and alcohol.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you're not familiar with Football Manager. Oh well, this gives me a lot more context for what you're asking. Every league almost that is conceivable is in this game. Almost. So yeah, the database for this cannot be loaded in its entirety on any existing computer. That'll give you the idea of the scope for it. Even NASA doesn't have a computer strong enough to run the entire database of Football Manager. So hopefully that puts it into perspective of what this game is all about.
But the most similar thing to FIFA or PES, I would say is like their manager modes.
Yeah, but they're not even remotely not nearly as in depth as this.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But in this, you don't play the game. You're on Xbox, so you're playing FM Touch. Right, so that's the stripped down version of it. Not the same at all. But weirdly, no sports criminal cartels, which is a pretty huge oversight. Yes, Wayne. Absolutely. This game wouldn't be complete unless we added sports criminal cartels.
But PSG's already in the game.
Oh! Burn! They got all the human trafficking you want covered right there. Oh, dude, that was a good one. I'd high five you, but, you know, yeah.
So, Ellie just hit the post from the penalty spot, and then my Swedish player, Anderson, just smashes it home on the volley.
I just had the weirdest goal I think I've seen. We hit, their goalkeeper made a save, knocked the ball off to one side. Their fullback kicked it, and it hit my player in the head, went straight up in the air, and fell down into the net.
Interesting.
Like, he tried to clear it, but it hit my player's head and went straight up and back down again. That was a weird goal, man. That was a weird goal. I hadn't seen one like that yet. That's crazy to think. That's a first.
Hoban just scored the tightest angled shot I have ever seen.
Well, he does that. He does amazing things for no reason.
He was maybe. Let's see what the replay shows, because that's on 3D for me. He was maybe a foot and a half from the end line.
Wow.
And a good 9 yards from the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Lindulu just got his first goal for me.
Who?
Lindulu, nice new signing. He just got a second one, too. The guy from Southampton that I signed.
I didn't hear the name.
Lindulu.
Yeah, that's why I said who.
Dan Lindulu. Starts with an N. Lindulu. N is in Lindulu. It's got one of those funny names. Most likely from one of the African nations. But he is an English player, so.
Does he not have a second nationality?
Oh, he most likely does. Let's go have a look. Or his parents are from. No, his second nationality, ironically enough, is France.
Which could have African roots in it.
It absolutely could, because there's a whole lot of French nations throughout. So, yeah, no, I mean, I was expecting to find something else, but he most likely has ancestry with other roots. So he has an entertaining name nonetheless. And he's scoring goals for me, so this is really all that matters.
So he's in
Dobbs!
good graces, is what you're saying.
Oh, yes, I'm liking him so far. So far, he are good.
First time in a while I get a first half red card.
I don't advise it.
Well, I can't do anything about it.
You could flail your arms violently around and protest.
I told him to focus, and he gets a second yellow card. The exact opposite of what I told him to do.
So now he's out of the game.
Yeah.
And you're a man down.
He's going to focus on taking a shower now.
Okay. You're absolutely right.
Hogan makes it 3-0 anyways. This game's over.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, at least it's not going to affect the outcome of your game, because that would be more frustrating. But damn.
Yeah.
Talk about team talks that fail, huh? Or player talks in this case. Oh, Lindulu's going to go up for a penalty and try to get his hat trick. Are we ready for it? Here he goes. He scores.
Right back. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to go to the restroom.
1-2. What are you, 5? Put in Lockery. Finish this game off. Pick on him a little bit too much, right? Are you still in the room there? Oh, Sparks didn't stick around. Oh, well. Now I can't advance in my game because I need him to press the button. Oh, wait. His game is still playing. Might as well jump into it. Heckle him some. That's something they need to add to this game. We need the ability to heckle people when you go show up at their games. That would be fun. I just thought of something they need to add to Football Manager.
Uh-oh, what is it?
When I show up to your game, like I just did because mine's over, we need the ability to heckle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just, I'd like, as a viewer, I'd like to have some input on this game.
Yeah, let's see if I can get a second red card.
That could be fun, but that's also not the best idea. Your team is still playing pretty great right now.
Yeah, except that shot.
Doesn't matter.
You know what? It's time to test the game. I'm going to tell him to focus again.
You've only put 3 on target and they all went in, so you can't complain that hard.
Alright, I told him to focus. Let's see if we get a second yellow card.
Plus, you're not playing Ward.
I didn't play anyone that played in my last game.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, a fully rotated squad.
So you're telling me Swiderski didn't play in the last game?
Most likely.
You have some questionable selection. No, I'm kidding. You have Allen and Ward, so I can understand that you have good quality midfielders.
I do. I do have a lot of good quality midfielders.
Good problem to have, really.
Ooh.
That was a very pretty goal.
Is this at least slower when the replay shows?
Yeah, it does slow it down quite a bit actually for the replays.
I don't have another center back on the bench, do I? I do not. But it's 4-0. I'll put a defensive midfielder back there.
Should be fine, yeah. What are you worried about, Masterson?
Yeah.
You should be fine. All right, whatever.
Look how. Oh well. Another one?
That would have been nice, eh?
Yeah, it would have been.
Still plenty of time.
Does it show you how tight the league is from 4th on to 9th? 5 teams are separated
Whoa!
on 7 points.
Yes,
Yeah.
I see that. Somebody who doesn't deserve to be relegated is getting relegated.
Yes, they are.
I mean, Drogheda, that's, I guess, to be in a playoff for relegation, they probably won't actually go down. Drogheda's definitely going down, though, from the look of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This far into the season, absolutely.
And 8-point gap is a hard thing to make up.
But they're also on a minus 21 goal differential, so
Mm-hmm.
a couple games with some good luck, you never know.
It's true. It's not impossible. It's just unlikely. That's all. There's another goal. Anderson.
We're a man down and we're up 5-0.
I know. You got to win a man down, and it almost just created more space for your players.
5 goals on 6 on target.
Speaking of Swedish, right, Anderson?
Yes, sir.
Because that Sweden team I just played. Sure, they could use him right now.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Sure they would, but he's mine, so I ain't giving him to nobody.
Right. Well, no, he's a good young player, and he's only going to get better. Don't worry, when I was trying to find another striker, 3 of yours came up in my scouting. And Anderson was one of them. I'm like, I need another backup striker to play in my backup 11 when I inevitably sell Melvin Lambert. But I did not sell Melvin. But I didn't sell Melvin Lambert. Guess who I sold anyway? Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown got sold. I no longer have Chuck. Chuck is gone. Sad times.
There'll be another one.
There can only be one. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's yeah. No, he. Charlie Brown moved on because somebody gave me money for him. I only signed him because of his name, so I'm like, yeah, I'll take whatever.
Take what you can get.
That's what I did. Yeah, it's as far as I'm concerned, it's a pretty good deal to sell on a guy I signed for nothing.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
Yep. But he was playing okay. He wasn't playing poorly, but I feel like I've upgraded that spot with Temeniskov, so I'm happy. Temeniskov's a nice upgrade on Charlie Brown. Now that I have like the 2 big strikers, I didn't want there to be a huge drop off if, say, one of them gets injured. Into who would come in and replace them. So that's why I decided to upgrade my backup strikers. But I should have been looking more at my midfield, although I've just got this whole... I love my 2 main midfielders. Eccles and Montez have been great, but I can't get... I'm doing that thing where I'm getting too attached to my players. Gotta quit doing that. No favorites. Gosh, a lot of these teams really want Rueg from... Oh, here's an offer for Montez. Not happening, guys. If I do get a new midfielder, it won't be instead of. It would be in addition to. Although I'm really liking the development of Oliver Mitchell, one of my young midfielders. He's been playing in my B squad and almost every minute of my B squad. And he's doing quite well, actually. Well, he's got 5 goals and 4 assists as a 17-year-old in 14 appearances. Yeah, I know. So, I mean, if he can stay on that trajectory, I'm going to be elated. And he's a guy that I've. He's a guy. Well, he's a guy that I was um, trying to compare to some of the other up and coming players, and yeah, I think he's going to be a really good star, a big star for me. So, hooray!
All right, are you ready for this? Portugal has beat. Hold on a second.
Portugal has beat.
Portugal has beat Italy in the Euro 2024, and with that, England manager Gareth Southgate, as well as at least 3 other managers, resigned from their position. Switzerland, Austria, and the Ukrainian head coaches all left, and the Argentine coach and the Brazilian coach both lost their jobs as well.
You're kidding.
Because Brazil finished 3rd in Copa America and Argentina finished 4th. Which means the final is being... Colombia won the final against Uruguay. So that's why they lost. Any interesting news stories in the Euros? Let's take a look. No, it's pretty straightforward.
But Ireland isn't available, so that's unfortunate. I would have really liked it if they were.
Yeah, not yet. Soon enough, hopefully. Soon enough.
Doubt my reputation's big enough for this. But... All right.
The worst you can do is try.
I threw my name in the hat for England. Oh.
You're gonna make them horrible, right?
Oh, hold on. My board is like, no, please don't leave us. Jeez, I was gonna. Of course, I wouldn't make them horrible. I want to win. This is unprofessional. If I don't attend the meeting, they'll terminate my contract. Oh.
Wait, if you don't attend the meeting?
Yeah.
So is that saying that they want you to attend the meeting?
Yeah, the board wished to hold a meeting to discuss you publicly declaring interest in another job.
Oh.
This is unprofessional on your part, and we would like you to explain your actions. Failure to attend the meeting will result in the board terminating your contract. So they were going to fire me if I didn't go and explain to them. And so I just went in and said, no, I plan on doing the national role and the club team. And they're just like, oh, yeah, that's okay then. They just wanted to make sure I wasn't going to leave the team for... You know,
with all due respect, you've left them in a fantastic position. If this was real life and you did decide to leave.
Also, I had a gun. Right, Wayne, exactly. I mean, I went in fully loaded. Because fuck those guys.
It's the board members, not the managers themselves.
Right. Wayne, did you play Vampire Survivors yet? I have to ask, because... Gotta look. Actually, why am I asking you? I can just look and see. Let's see. Dan's played it. Trevor's played it. No, I don't see you on there. Best $3 ever. Nope, too busy for you. Okay. Gotcha. Understood.
Island Park Baseball comes out in a month.
That's true. It does, doesn't it?
And so does F1 Manager 2022.
St.
Well,
Pat's Athletic Board urged me to stay. Guys, I'm not leaving you. The board is urging me to stay. I'm like, God, it's going to be okay, you guys. Seriously. When does my contract expire? 2026. Yeah, I've got like 2 more years, guys. Maybe I should just ask them for a new contract. Kind of milk this, right? Yikes. Oh, man. I'm not going to loan Maher out. He's been playing. All right, let's take our 2-0 lead into their stadium. Oh, it's a pretty busy game. You're not wrong about that. It's like Trevor explained it well, but I couldn't grasp it until I played it. It's a reverse bullet hell game. Instead of all the bullets coming at you, all the bullets are coming out of you, and you're trying to kill. It's actually not that stressful for me. You just gotta walk around and dodge the dudes, and you don't actually have anything to do with the weapons that come out of you. You just they happen automatically. So the whole thing is just dodging and bobbing and weaving, but it's just strangely addictive. I know my description doesn't make it sound very good, but it is. It's ridiculously addictive. I can't do it justice with words. All right, so here we go. Let's go. Go score. Score more. Yeah. Yes. 1-0. All right. 3-0 on aggregate. 3 minutes in and we got a goal. So Jacob, this is good. Had you got a league game today?
Yes.
Okay. So you're actually going to be ahead of me on games now. No?
I said no, I don't have a league game.
Oh, what are you playing?
I'm not.
You don't have a game?
No, sir.
You're not watching mine either, are you?
Nah.
Melbourne 2-0. Exhaust you mentally? Okay. No worries. It was a lot of fun, so I thought I'd mention it. Eccles with 2 assists. That's what I like to see, bud. I started talking about upgrading my midfield, and he got nervous. Looked at his stats and realized, oh no, I don't have enough attributes to keep my job.
Six Flags is raising wages up to $20 an hour for ride operators.
Good. Pay a living wage, keep people happy.
Yeah, but their hours suck. You work from 10. You basically work 10 to 10, 4 days a week.
12 hours a day, 4 days a week. That's not that bad. You get 3 days. 3-day weekends are great.
That's someone that's in high school?
Well, if you're in high school, yeah, but why would you be working those kind of shifts if you're in high school?
Because it's a summer job?
Dude,
Working at an amusement park?
it's not that bad then. You're not actually in high school.
All right, mister.
Well, I'm just saying. That sounds like a pretty good job to be.
Well, yo, I mean, considering I only got paid like $8 an hour when I worked there.
Oh, you got ripped off.
Oh, just a little bit.
Inflation, though, and all that jazz.
And nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to work. So companies have to drive up wages.
Yeah, 4-day work weeks just makes sense. They're just so much more productive. Everywhere in the world that they use them, they've already shown how efficient they are. 4-day work weeks is like the best, and people here just do not care because companies think they'll lose money somehow. I mean, technically they lose a small amount, but they end up more than making it up with the lack of sick days and everything else that they end up having with their employees. Like they did figure out that economically 4-day work weeks are just way better. Oh no, I just got scored upon.
Oh, now the game's getting interesting.
It's only 5-1 on aggregate now.
Oh, never mind. I'm gonna go have a beer.
Can I have one?
No, you're not allowed.
Okay, that's fair. Can I have two?
No, you can't have one. You're definitely not allowed to have two.
Oh,
You can try though, but I can count. I'm a math major.
yes, 12-hour shifts aren't good. It's supposed to be 10-hour work shifts to be the most effective. Yeah, the last 2 hours of a 12-hour shift, you're right, people are not just useless, they're just downright brain dead.
That's fair. That is a
It
fair
is,
assessment.
well, it's exhausting. I mean, 4 10-hour shifts with a 3-day weekend has been already proven to be the most effective economically for everybody, employees and businesses. But for some reason, North America is just not picking it up, at least not quickly enough. Rueg's having a good game. I can't take him out. You're complacent, and you're complacent. Take the two complacent guys out. That's what I'll do. They scored on their only shot on goal because, of course, they effing did.
No.
M. Sword assisted by K. Sword.
We have a bye to the next round. That's why we're not playing right now.
Because work has to
But
be a punishment. That's so funny.
no, work should be fun.
You have a buy into the next round and I don't? That's unacceptable.
On a side note, Shelburne won their first like 10-0.
I am done my game, but that's amazing that they did that.
Yeah, I want to see what what the aggregate was. Imagine they lost 11-0.
I don't know. I don't want to imagine something like that. That would just be too morbid, even for this game.
Hold on, let me find it.
I will now play the Lincoln Red Imps,
Oh, that's a win.
Gibraltar.
You might as well play your backups for that.
I am not going to, but thank you for the advice.
You're welcome.
I'll put a soup strainer in goal. That's how confident we are.
Shelburne fighting for the relegate to stay alive in the league. Um, won their second leg only 2-0.
Oh, yeah.
So let's see. Yeah, they
Good night, Wayne.
1, 2, good night, 3, 4, 5, 6. They've only won 6 games in the league, and then they thrashed their opponent 12-0 on aggregate
Mhm.
in Europe. Interesting combination. Barnsley and offer for Duffy.
Yeah. Of course, he's had some good games. I'm not surprised somebody's sniffing around at him.
Oh yeah, if
I,
only we could get him back.
I scouted him briefly, but he's 29. Otherwise, I'd have gone for him. Oh, wait. No, I'm thinking of Ward, not Duffy. Ward. That's what I was thinking of.
Duffy was the player that was leaving on the transfer from the start of the game.
Oh, got it. Got it. No, sorry. I was thinking of Ward, your midfielder. I started looking at him,
No
too.
worries.
I was like, if he's going to play that well, but then he's 29. I'm like, well, okay. So I got that center back that I went after. He did not, in fact, choose the low level.
Doncaster? No, don't tell me. Dartford? No, don't tell me. Don't tell me.
I won't.
It wasn't Dartford, was it? The other team that he was looking at? Dartford. I forget what team it was.
I do now, too. Sounds right.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. Okay, so I got my new player. Oh, wait. They put him in the under 19s automatically. That's not where I want him to be. No, no. All right, so let's put together my B squad the way it's going to be going forward. Alpo Helm, you are no longer on the bench. For the backups. Speaking of backups, I'm about to play Sligo Rovers. Therefore, backups will be playing. Because I'm using my starters for the cups. I think I'm in a safe place in the league, but we'll have to wait and see.
Oh, you are. It's whether or not you're gonna go undefeated.
I don't care.
Is the question.
I honestly don't care that much. It's going to be harder now that I lost one of my center backs to like a really good one, but this is gonna speed up Mahon's development. So little give, a little take. Robbie Benson's still doing Mitchell, Tabby. So Tona is now on my backup 11. So my two strikers are amazing for my backup 11.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Who is left on your trial? Let's see if I can get you in yet. Nope, that's not. Okay.
Oh, you know what? You here.
Can I get you in on them?
I have to do that.
You're English.
Desmond. Ew, he's English. Ew. Sorry. Just kidding around. Just the way you said it kind of came across that way. Like, ew, you're English. Gross.
Didn't mean it that way.
No, I know you didn't. It just sounded funny in my, just the way it hit my ear. Very amusing. Kind of weirdos are English anyway.
Who's Dominic Quinn? Is he worth keeping? He is not.
I have no idea who that
Alright,
is.
he's in my U19s
Oh.
with a 1.5 star potential ability. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Ballymena United reserves have offered a contract to Dominic Quinn. The highest fee Ballymena United ever paid for a player was for Ross Larking's $3.5 thousand deal from Linfield. Dundalk will be due $170,000 in compensation if the deal goes ahead.
Wow.
My God, you can leave my team. Get the fuck out of here.
170,000 for a guy that's going to be nobody.
Get
I
out
mean,
of here.
it's not Jordan Roach and it's not that goalkeeper whose name I can't pronounce, so they can leave.
And we're getting $170,000 in compensation.
Yeah. There's another thing. I forgot about that. That just hit me. Is you definitely don't want to re-sign Stritzel. You've got that friggin' that young goalkeeper.
Yeah, but he's not as good.
He will be. He'll be better.
Let's see who my assistant manager is saying to leave out of the squad. Who's this? Roman Sabater? Fine. This is the goalkeeper, right?
Oh, you have Maurizio Pochettino on trial. That's cool.
You do?
No, you do.
Oh, yeah.
The player. Yeah. Good looking player. You gonna sign him? Nice. Probably be a good pickup.
I'm trying to, but he doesn't want to sign yet.
Oh. That's unfortunate. Who is this one? Janelle Bennett. He's not bad. Not bad at all. He'd be Janelle Bennett. He'd be a decent rotation option for you. I just don't like his determination, but you know that.
How much money do we have? We have exactly $10,260,699. I forget how much money we get if we make it into the group stage. I don't think it's a lot, though, relatively speaking.
Gosh darn it, man. English Premier League are coming after Rueg now.
shows that your team's getting better.
It does. God damn it, Rueg. Why are you going to be... they've unsettled him. He was set on going to join Burnley, so now I'm going to have a bit of an uphill battle against him. Why is there so many teams after him? Well, I'm not selling him, so they can go suck a nut, dumb shit. Little BoJack Horseman there. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to wait until interest in him cools off and then potentially sign him to a new contract worth more money if I want to hang on to him. Or, I could start shopping for a new right back, but I really don't want to have to do that because he's good. Sheesh.
Excuse me.
Nah.
This might be another loss, to be honest with you, just so I can keep my players fresh for Europe.
Well, you have the buffer to do it if you need to do that.
Yeah.
You use your buffer however you see fit.
Shine my shoes.
I'm going to go for a quick washroom break while my first half plays. BRB. And I'm back. And it's halftime and we're up 2-0. All right. I can handle that.
It's nice to hear.
Yes, it is. It's exceptional to come back to a lead. Although I have this thing in the back of my head. I'm like, what if I come back and we're losing? What will I do? All right, but we're not, so I don't have to worry about that. Oh, that's a bit of a harsh tackle there, bud. Okay. Well, yeah, no, we're playing really well. Good possession and passing. Oh, that guy's getting red carded. Bye-bye, Banks. Take the penalty as well. All right. Yves Stabby scores 3-0.
We are down 3-1 at halftime.
Oh, dude, no. You weren't kidding then, eh?
Nope, they scored twice in the first 5 minutes, so that didn't help.
That is a shitty way to start any game.
Yes, sir.
Sorry to hear it.
It's all good. We're still 8 points ahead, so
Right, that's important.
there's 13 games left.
Hmm.
So we play everybody again once at least. I'm not too worried just yet. I knew we were gonna lose, but I didn't think it was gonna be this bad.
That's fair. You're right.
We also had a goal called off for offsides too, so that doesn't help.
Well, we got a nice 3-0 win. And that new center back I signed got his debut.
Nice.
Yeah, all around decent game. Fucking Shamrock Rovers again.
4.
Burke with the hat trick.
Yep. We somehow have 60% of the possession as well.
That's pretty good. Both of
Nice.
their midfielders are named Kavanaugh. That's not relevant to anything. I just thought it was pretty funny. Oof.
Prince on a 6.1. I think I just need to get rid of him. Because I think every time he comes in, he just does not play well.
He's only a decent goalkeeper for this level.
But, like,
I think he's a fine backup goalkeeper if your main guy is injured.
what
But
about the 19-year-old?
I mean, you could give him some development time. 19-year-old.
20. He's 20 now, I think.
The fucking what's his name? The French guy.
The French guy, yeah.
I think if you were going to do that, you'd be better off just playing the guy in your under 18s. The guy whose name I can't pronounce.
Okay.
I mean, you should give him some playing time if you're going to go playing a younger player, because he's going to be the best out of all of them down the line.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. The French guy's not bad. He's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck it. Who knows, man? Just give them all some games, see who plays the best. Right? It's like, okay, guys, there's some games up for grabs. Go impress me.
St. Pat'sburg Europa Conference League ticket. Congratulations.
Oh, okay. Well, we're doing okay so far. Step 1 complete. We cannot do worse than the European place. All right.
You should lose every game now.
It is encouraging. No, I'm not going to do that. It is encouraging though to hit a nice spot like that.
Yeah, it's like you're almost done with the season. You're far and away the best team in the league.
Well, I mean, all the money we're getting is kind of making it easy, and the reputation boosts.
Yeah. We'll get there eventually. We're just taking a scenic route.
I think you're doing fine.
Still wish we won the Europa League, but not Europa League, the Conference League last year. But we lost to Arsenal.
Mm-hmm. That was a really good run, though, no matter how you look at it. So.
Oh yeah, and good for the finances too.
Totally.
Obviously not as much as what you get in the Champions League, but that's
Yeah, right.
still very good.
All right, so center back, Helm, Ristov, Mayon, Hardly. Yeah. Okay. So there's a big drop off from my starting two to my backups now that I've sold. De La Fuente. This guy wants way too much money. So my scouts are doing their best.
Mm-hmm.
But Joe Gellhart. Oh, yeah, I was after him at one point. Don't think we're going to get him, though. Willie Quinn. I don't need another striker. What the hell are my scouts on? Some kind of illicit drug.
Possibly.
What have we here? Not bad. Not bad. Not the best dribbling. Good determination. I don't think I want to spend that amount of money on him, though. Adam, wait, when is his contract done? 2027? Nah, it's too long to wait for him. Who's this guy? Too much money. Not good enough, not good enough. Too much money. Yeah, well, that's the story of my season. Players are either too expensive or not good enough.
Can't find that happy Goldilocks zone yet, can ya? Contracts?
Contracts? What about contracts?
You doing some right now?
Nope.
Or were you?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm trying to reject all these offers coming in for my players, among many other things.
Gotcha.
People are trying to buy Montez off me. It's not happening. Not while I'm in the middle of a big season run and he's a key player for me.
Did you set his availability to unavailable?
No, I mean, it doesn't do any good. They still make offers.
Yeah. Huh. It was worth a shot. So if we win this tie, then we get to play a Latvian team or a Belarusian team. Both whom I've never heard of.
My squad needs to be confirmed for the Champions Cup. Okay, let's just make sure I don't fuck this up this time. Okay, I can't register you. Okay, I have to stick with this. So Richardson, O'Hanlon, and Quans are the only unregistered players. I don't think any of them are going to be upset about it.
Oh, wait. Wait a second. Why will we have to pay compensation? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Because he's 21 still?
That might be. Hard to say. Which league and what are the rules? I can help you if you need.
Coventry under 23s.
You have to pay compensation for a guy that's 21?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, that doesn't seem right. Coventry. Huh.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know what the reason behind that would be.
Let's see what they want. Let's make an inquiry to see what they want. He's out of contract with the club, so I'm almost afraid to ask for an inquiry. You know what? Let's do it. I guess it's too late now. We are going to travel 1,800 miles to Athens, Greece.
Wow. That is
And who
quite
are
the
you
distance.
playing?
I am playing Lincoln Red Imps.
Lincoln, okay.
Oh, wait. Yeah, Gibraltar. Lincoln from Gibraltar.
England job was unsuccessful.
For you?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I didn't know you applied for England, and mine was also unsuccessful. So don't feel bad.
200.
That's funny. Neither of us even got an interview.
Additional fees, installments. We'll do 100,000.
All right, well, I'm just going to go with my usual suspects.
Alright, let's see what we can do against this team. Making 9 changes from the last match.
Wow, that is significant. But you did say you were going to keep a bunch of players fresh for this one.
Exactly.
You basically dropped points on purpose, almost, in order to save your players for this.
Yeah, I mean, here's where the money's made, so.
Mm-hmm.
We're not guaranteed the Champions League yet. We need to finish second. And I'm willing to sacrifice 3 points to make a run in Europe and a chance to finish in second.
1 minute, one
So,
shot, one goal.
for you,
Yeah.
told you should have brought your backups.
Nope. Because this is where the money's made, as you pointed out. So these guys are going to go out there and earn it.
Yeah, fair enough.
2 minutes, 2 shots, 2 goals.
It's gonna run up, I'll tell you that.
I just I believe you.
1-0. Odin Bailey.
For you,
Yes, sir.
Owen Bailey's your player.
He's one of my strikers.
3-0.
Oh, it's over the bar. Keep it down.
Turning on time wasting and lowering the tempo now so that my players don't run themselves ragged.
Sidversky. Ah, come on, boys. You're not doing as good as you could be. Oh, that's a nice goal, Hoban. It's 18th of the year.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, he's having another solid season for you, even at his advanced age.
Yep.
It's amazing how many goals he can score out there with his walker.
He probably uses the walker to shoot people away.
Most old people do. As they're yelling, "Get off my lawn, you young punks!" Why? Why do I have to stereotype old people like that? Why do they have to stereotype themselves like that? That's the real question. uh, I'm scared because I'm close to being one of them.
No, you're still a ways away.
Good. Hooray. Wow. I mean,
It's 2.
Lindulu just scored. It's 5-0 over here. We're not at the half yet. I even put up time wasting and lowered my tempo, but they're just.
Wow.
Yeah.
I told you could have played your backups.
No, you were right. I just didn't want to do it. That's all. My backup still got points in the league. So we didn't lose anything.
I should tell my 2 players on yellows to purposely get a red card.
Are you doing that again, are you?
Well, I mean, we're up. Hold on. We're up 4-0 right now.
That's
So
really
I
nice.
feel it's safe to assume we're gonna be moving on.
I think that you are
So
correct.
have the 2 guys get the yellow cards now, so I don't have to worry about it in the next leg
That's
or in the
probably
next tie, rather.
yeah. That's not a bad idea actually. Six 0
78th minute, nothing changed. Five.
Who do I have on the bench for this game? And how many substitutions is there? 3. Okay.
How did your game finish?
Just at halftime, dude.
Oh, jeez.
Just past halftime. It's 8-0 now.
Holy Lord.
Yeah, you weren't exaggerating.
No, I was not.
I just took my defensive midfielder out, added another striker. My defensive midfielder looked so bored. Why not? Definitely put out my younger players for the conclusion of this game.
I was finished 5-1.
All right, not bad at all. That was your home or away game?
That was the away game.
Oh my God, that's even better then.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Thanks.
Got to be pretty stoked on that. I turned on time wasting and lowered the tempo like at the 15th minute of my game. So I imagine it could have been more than 8-0 at this point, but there's the 9th one.
Jesus.
Yeah, we got 28 shots on target. 45 attempts in all. And it's not done yet. We're still not even at the 80th minute. Oh, 10-0. Lindulu just scored his 4th of the game. Holy Christ. Oh, these guys are just having a good time, I think. 11-0. Lindulu just scored his 5th of the game. I'm going to get a fresh drink. Let's see if they can score 2 more before I get back. Nope, full time, 11-0.
Wow.
Pretty easy to take that result, I must say.
And you were away from home as well?
No, that was at home.
Doesn't make the second, like... Okay, it does make it easier. Like I said, play your backups. Dang it.
I very well may do that, actually. Well, no, I played Dragetta immediately after that, so there's no point.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't have a third 11. Otherwise, that might be the good time to use them.
Well, I wouldn't put it past you for coming up with a third 11 at some point.
I am not that deep in, no. But it could be a fun time to try. You know what? There are a bunch of kids I can play off the bench. Yeah, I'll put a different team up for the next one. I can get close to a third 11. Now that I'm looking at it. Apparently, we prefer Illich to Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, I don't think so. I prefer him to Bruno Fernandes. Wow, no, not even a little bit. If I could trade my entire team for Bruno Fernandes right now, I would.
I think I'll play the other European game, and then I think I'm gonna head to bed.
Okie dokie. Ooh, senior challenge, first round. We got Wexford. You got Shelburne. Oh, you got a hard draw. Comparatively. I still think you'll wax them, but
Excuse me.
that was well brought up. Why weren't you?
Thank you. An ass. That was a good one. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm.
I still think it's crazy that most of our games against each other in the second half of the season.
This time, yeah, it's been really interesting because normally they're either spread out or right lumped up at the beginning, but it's been good. Like it's nice because your team is actually maintaining composure. I, st-
Exactly. It,
I,
it
st-
worked in our favor. I hope. Go ahead.
I was going to say nothing. I was agreeing.
Oh,
Yep,
I was gonna say I hope it continues for years to come, but
totally.
I highly doubt that.
I don't look forward to playing you.
Mhm.
I think your team will always be the one that gives me the best run in the Irish division. So there it is.
245. Thank you.
Plus, I'm very sure you're confident or capable of improving the team a lot as time goes on. So, especially now that we're both going to be Champions League teams, you should be doing just fine.
It'll be interesting to see how far we go comparatively because now we start off in the same competition.
That's
Or
true.
again, let's assume I finish in second.
Which it's a reasonably fair assumption. Still, I understand that you're having your doubts and or reluctances right now, but it's. I think you still will.
We'll see.
We will see indeed. All right, I'm going to go with this team. You know what? This is how I'm going to roll. Poor Shelburne.
Mhm.
I'm playing my starters against them because I'm going to be playing my backups in the next two in a row. Not too many teams
Luck
get to
goes
see.
out to them, I guess.
Not too many teams in this division get to see my starting 11. The number of cup competitions and stuff that we get involved in, it's essential for us to have two teams, really.
Yeah. Oh, 12 money nothing. Nice.
Very nice.
And if you really want to take it another level, to have a third team to loan to the other clubs in our league.
Mm-hmm.
Sh- mm, Here we go. Oh, 2-0. Beautifully worked goal.
We're on a counterattack now. They were looking dangerous for a minute, which was surprising to me. Oh, they just took Gory down in the box, so here comes a penalty. This should make it 2-0, hopefully. It does.
2-0 here.
Nice. Really nice. Gory with his 24th of the season already. That's why I'm glad I didn't lose him.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I added another guy that's every bit as good as him, but I'd rather have both.
Mhm.
Yeah, Lanulu looks like a very
Oh,
dangerous scorer as well.
Semenzakov.
Domeniskov? Well, he's in my backup 11, right? So he's partnered with Satona in my backup 11. So
Okay.
That's 4 really good strikers I have now, as far as I'm concerned.
3-1.
Oops.
Ooh, we almost made it 3-2 on the brink of halftime.
Oh,
They still have a corner. That's over the bar.
try not to let them back into it, yeah?
I agree. I'll try not to.
I'm having a much closer game against Shelburne than I would like right now. Oh, there we go, 3-0.
Yeah, me too.
Their goalkeeper has been playing insane so far. He's got 9 saves, and some of them are really high quality saves. All right, halftime, 3-0.
4-1.
4-1's good.
What's this? Yeah, it is. It's keeping us on track.
Oh, they just scored on me. What a bunch of jerks. They've actually been quite dangerous at times, so I'm not thrilled that we let in a goal. That's another clean sheet I'm not getting.
Hey.
'87, '88, '89, '90.
Oh, I was counting 30.
Hmm.
36.
What the shit? They almost scored again. Come on, you guys. Stop playing. Oh, they did score again.
Wow.
It's 3-2. They've only got 3 shots on goal. I've got 15.
Ooh. It is now 5-1 at the end of the game.
My game's only
Nice,
3-2.
victory.
3-2 over here. In a game that these guys have no business even being a part of. My team looks like they're going to create another goal, but it's hard to say. They're having one of those super keeper games where their goalkeeper just saves everything.
Oh, yeah. I've had a few of those. But I always get broken down somehow.
Told them to focus. Let's see how they reacted. Oh, they actually did. Nobody reacted poorly to that.
Nice. I always have the most trouble with telling them to focus.
Well, they need to. Jesus, they just conceded 2 goals back to quickly. It's the second worst team in the goddamn division. And this is my starting players. I'm shocked right now. Sure, they roll in heavy match loads, but these guys should be able to beat these guys almost effortlessly.
With their eyes closed, essentially.
And one leg tied behind their back, yeah. I'd like to watch that. This guy's hopping around on hopping around on one leg. And Lindulu makes it 4-2. Okay, that should put it away. Oh, it didn't count. Oh, that was okay. I guess they said it was marginally offside. I don't know. It didn't look that way to me, but I'm biased. My XG says I should have a lot more goals. All right, 3-2. Well, I'm going to tell them that was a terrible effing game. I'm good to go here. That was definitely our worst game in quite some time.
I love it how your worst game in quotes quite some time is still a win.
Yeah, me too. I'm grateful for that. But yeah, wow. We scored all 3 goals in the first half at a nice comfortable 3-0 lead going into halftime, only to come out of it and they got 2 in the middle of the second half. So that made me nervous.
One thing I want to do next week is count how many games we have in all competitions.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of the busier leagues, definitely. I've noticed that. I have some seriously good, high potential players.
Okay. Decline. Stop going up. Compensation only 110? Absolutely.
That's not what I was looking for. I think I want this one.
I'm sorry. I didn't know you were waiting for me.
Not at all. I was assigning a PPM to my new midfielder. I'm just starting to micromanage him more because he's starting to look like a bona fide star in the making. So
Nice.
I want to micromanage him more and make sure that I get out of him what I need.
I do not blame you one bit.
Yeah, my scouts are starting to be pretty stoked on him. You want to buy this guy? Sure, you can have him. See if I can develop him into the player I think he's going to be, then I'm excited because he's going to be like way better than my current midfielders according to my scouts, and will be a bigger star than even the 2 strikers I have. I'm thinking this guy is like EPL material. Then at some point down the line, I'd like to get him there and hopefully not have him leave. That would be nice.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. Oh, another transfer offer for somebody. Laney. I don't even recognize this name, but he's a prospect, so that means no. Trying to get him for nothing as well. Oh, fakes. Do I send my 20-year-old goalkeeper out on loan?
Yes. You have enough
See.
goalkeepers. Yeah, I feel like you have enough
Okay.
goalkeepers. You should be just fine to do that.
Off season, I really have to make sure I get all the best coaches that I can. Just need my reputation to increase.
The biggest transfers is 2 in and 2 out for me.
Oh, that's right, we're home.
Wow.
What are you saying loud to?
Just reading my coach's opinions on Oliver Mitchell, my center midfielder. So I'm trying to get a grasp on how good he's going to be. So trying to measure, but it's hard to measure him because they're not comparing him to players anywhere but in Premier Division. So, a great player in this division doesn't mean a lot, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to get a
Yeah.
good grasp on. At least someone, when you're playing in England and they're like, this guy could be at the, Premier League level. It's like, oh, that's really good. When they tell me he's going to be at
No,
the Premier League
definitely. I
level,
mean,
yeah. In this one, when they tell me he's going to be at the Premier League level, it's like, oh, well, so where's everyone else
no
on my
shit.
team? But he has 5 full golden stars, and nobody else on my team
Oh,
does.
interesting.
And I was like, so I think he's really close to actual English Premier level potential.
Which means you're starting to, you're not starting, you're continuing to rise the rankings.
But this is a guy brought out of my academy, so that means our
The
academy may,
academy's doing well.
yeah, I don't know. At least for this player, like this guy is so far looking like a generational talent for a team in this division
Wow.
or in this country for that matter.
Well, we'll have to keep an eye on him to see how many international caps
Yeah,
he makes.
right. I mean, he's starting today in European competitions. So he hasn't looked at a place in league games. He's contributed a bit, and he's only 17. So I'm pumped.
Jeez.
I have a few really decent looking young players that are going to make an impact in this league, but this guy is beyond that. So great. It's exciting. There he goes. He just scored. It's 1-0 and Mitchell scored it. I think he's liking all the
There you go.
praise.
I agree.
Yeah, he's liking being
You
praised
should
right
keep
now.
praising him. Maybe he can score a hat trick.
Uh, that would be amazing. But honestly, every bit of contribution he makes to me is a bonus at this point. So
Nice. That's what I like to hear, especially from your young up and comers.
right. I've been trying to sprinkle in enough playing time for them, but this guy's forcing his way into the lineup. I can't sit him. That's how well he's been doing. And I love it when a player can do that.
Makes you make some tough decisions too.
Totally. Saraki. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. Well, we're still scoring bunches on them, but not as bad as last game. It's only
Still
4-0.
scoring punches instead.
Yeah.
Only 4-0.
Well, I mean, because it's my backup players. 5-0. Looks like we're going to be 5-0 going into the half.
Wow.
Temeneskov has 3 assists in this game.
If only I was able to keep him.
Good player.
I wonder who decided to buy him.
Yeah, he's a really good player.
Yeah.
Quite speedy and agile. Good all-rounder, even for a short guy. I contemplated. I was like,
Short guys on your team.
well, I was like, he's too short for my liking. And then I looked and I was like, okay, you know what? He's just really good all around, and I need a solid contributor for my 4th striker spot because Melvin Lambert. I mean, he's an upgrade on Melvin Lambert. Considering that was my star player for a while, it tells me how far this team has come. But then what's funny is Melvin Lambert was my star player, and I just poached an upgrade off of your team, which tells me how far your team has come.
Poached an upgrade off my team?
Yeah, an upgrade over Melvin Lambert.
Oh,
From,
oh, okay.
yeah. So even you're having better players than what used to be my star caliber player.
Yeah, and it's gonna do me well in Europe this year. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Just gotta continue to work the rotation.
Yep.
Let players in and out.
Mitchell has the 2nd goal of the game.
Nice.
They didn't count it. How was that? That's dumb. Okay, well he had his 2nd goal of the game.
What minute are you in?
64th.
Okay.
And I'm going to put Maherin, Owen Deans, and O'Connell. Hold on. Actually, no, not O'Connell. I'm going to put in Murray. He hasn't gotten enough minutes lately. Maher to Mahon. That's some fun names. Didn't realize I had. Yeah, okay. I've got a central midfielder named Maher and a defender named Mahon. So that was an interesting connection. Maher to Mahon.
442 diamond, I'm telling you.
What about it? That's what you're playing right now? Did you switch to a diamond?
No.
Oh.
The game's over.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure what you're talking about with the. There's Mitchell's second goal. That one's short account. Yeah, okay. he actually scored a second goal still, so we're good.
He now needs to score a third.
Well, if a penalty comes up, I'll throw him in for it.
Not your goalkeeper?
Certainly not. That's your silly thing. I don't like doing that. Jaros does not care about goals. He's not a glory seeker. He's a steady goalkeeper, and that's all I've needed to this point.
Steady Eddie.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's one of the positions I have, as of yet, not considered upgrading.
Oh, soon though, right?
I mean, sometime. But I think I'm going to work on my midfield first. Oh, and Deans. Right on.
What's your score at?
8-0, 19-0 on aggregate.
Shit. No wonder why it's taking forever.
I'm really sorry. I turned on time wasting again in the 10th minute.
No worries.
There we go. Finally. Oh man. Well, great. Game done. This was the one you wanted to play, and then you were good.
Yes.
No problem.
I just want to set my training, and then I'm good to go.
I hope I remember I want to play backups in my next game next time.
Put in the notes.
Right. Temeneskov with 4 assists in that game. That's tremendous contribution.
Recovery. Prep. Shape. There we go. You can save it.
Great. Done. And then I will say goodnight to any people that are still paying attention. See you next week.
Good night, everybody.